Great to be here, and so many familiar faces. So, Sport.com is like a big app company for paid apps with more than 30 apps, focusing on yoga and fitness kind of apps. And then we saw a really big problem in all the App Store, but mainly in the sport vertical of retention. So we thought to create a community, a social layer inside the app in order to increase the retention, but to get all the other added values. So nice to meet you all. And I'm thinking about social media and the valuations we see there, M&As, IPOs, and it's really crazy. We had the Instagram deal some years ago. Now it looks a really great deal in like a tenfold for the valuation, but at that time a company with zero revenue, no business model, it looked really like risky. And then down the road we had the Facebook acquisition of WhatsApp, and still people debate if it's a good deal or not, and app developers really have the confidence to take it big, and Snapchat refused for a $4 billion for Google and Facebook, and are now evaluated of like 2-3-fold that. And then I'm thinking, what's going on here? Is all the industry crazy, or is there something that we're not talking about? And I think that the game that we should mention changed from looking on revenues and business models to something like much bigger. So now the user base, the audience matters, but most of it, the quality. So if I have users that are really engaged and their retention is really high, then there's really many things I can do from the data mining perspective or from the optimization side. And that's what we saw when we wanted to create this community. And now I want to share you our story. So after being one of the pioneers in the App Store, and then we saw it's getting tougher and tougher, we wanted to give big value to our users. And basically, the first thing we wanted to address is to increase retention. Now, if I'm looking on some numbers from Localytics, for example, you can see that 23% of the users will only open the app once. And even 10, 20, 15 times to open an app, that's not enough to have a business here. So we need to have 10, 20-fold that number to really have an app that I can do something with it, right? If I want to do the monetization side or other things. And then we thought and really brainstormed of how to have this immediate value, not only the fitness plans and activities, and here you can see like an example of this social layer. So a user from all the 30 apps can engage with like-minded people, can motivate others, can be motivated, can share his pictures and tweets, and we see it like as an Instagram met fitness, and thanks Teddy for that definition. And then we saw that we can increase the MAU by 35% only by putting this layer and putting really zero effort on sophisticated features. And that's when we really understand we want to take this to the next level. And I'll show you later. Today we are opening a standalone app only for Fit and Share. So it can appear one time on the social layer for all the 30 apps, but also as a standalone app. And then the even more cool thing we understood and saw from this layer is that we can really understand our users. We understand their age, their gender, their hobbies, their behaviors. And then we thought how we can take this to not only increase retention, but to do something like much more bigger than that. And then we saw, okay, so from the product side, if I know exactly who are my users, I can do a really personalized experience for what kind of fitness activities you want to see, even in the social layer, what kind of people do you want to interact with. So that was pretty awesome, and that also helped us to increase the engagement. But then we went to the user acquisition in the monetization side and saw that from a data-driven approach, we can do really good results. And then just an example, we saw that women are much, much more active in in-app purchases. So now if I'm looking at my ROI and these kind of users, I can target women if that's what my goal is. But on the other side, if I want to have more of engaged users, we saw that men are actually much more active in terms of doing more sessions per use. And there are much more open options. We saw here, men preferred in outdoor activities, women preferred indoor activities. People from Asia much more like to share their results on social networks. But people from the States like to work on the weekends, and people from other places in the other days. So it's really, really, really interesting to see how the behaviors change across demographics. So that was the value we got from the second thing, not only the engagement. And then, if I'm looking at the app stores, there are so many apps out there, so many categories, so many local stores. If you'll not be able to really have a unique product, this will be really tough to be a winner here. Because think about it. There are more than 40, 50 apps that are competing with the exactly same thing you do. So when we launched this social layer, we were the only fitness apps that is offering something like this. And then, okay, that's pretty cool to show users to really use it. And then we thought, okay, this is not enough. I want really to go all in for what we did. And then we thought, okay, so now I have my community. People that are interacting with one another, are sharing photos, are doing many, many things. And they're like a community. It's not only inside the apps, they take it to social networks. We see in Instagram and in Twitter and in Facebook and in Tumblr and in Pinterest and any social platform you can think about. We see groups that came from our apps. And now we started with fitness apps, and let's face it, it's an average plus app. But now they installed the app for the fitness, but they're doing a totally different thing now. And then if I'm summing up what we saw in this community, so in 1 year with zero promotion and no marketing spend here, we created a community of 1.5 million people. And maybe on all the paid apps, we had 40 million users, but the level of engagement in what we can do with this 1.5 million users are much, much more than the 40 million users that most of them use only a single amount of times. And then when I think about what's going on in social media, it's about this. Because if I can have 1 million users that I know exactly who they are, what they want, what I offer to give them, how to monetize them, how to acquire new ones, this is something that can be really, really big. And then before I finished what we did on the social layer, I just wanted to give you 2 tips that on the last decade of working with apps and with all the changes we see there are 2 things that maybe many people talk about, but I see many app developers not doing it. For example, I'm a mentor in Google Campus, and we see there apps that go to conferences and read blogs, but still don't do these 2 things good. So the first one is really think about what are the KPIs that you want to measure. We all know that for gaming, we need to see the tutorial, and there's like many templates that people are using, but each app has something different. It can be different kind of users, different kind of interaction, different kind of flow. Really think what are the KPIs you want to measure, and then measure them right. Because this is really tricky with all the marketing companies in ways to measure ROI and engagement. That's something that still most of the developers, from what I see, don't do it good. The second thing is about assumptions. The number of times I meet really cool entrepreneurs with really cool apps, and they're so confident that all what they're doing are right. They're not even thinking and brainstorming about what are the assumptions I'm making here. And then if you can just tell to yourself, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the assumptions I made, then cool, try it. You can A/B test. It can be good or not good, but still you will know what you take as for sure. And then there are really many tools now, like the alpha and beta testers in Apple with TestFlight to do that right. And then if you do this really good, be ready for the growth. And now, just before I finish, I'll just complete the story. So I created a blog post for this, the social layer experience we had, published it on TapDuck, a cross-platform solution. Then we saw like 5, 6 companies contact me and told me, write the same blog on our platform. And that's why only then, and by seeing the numbers, we really understand there's something that I wanted to share with you and show you what we did, and maybe you can take this even to the next level. So thank you very much.